Boys and girls, Alex back again. Looks like some people are designed to build boxes, others cutting boards, some pens, which I went through, some turn bowls, but I seem to be making puzzles. Here's the latest one I've come up with. That's a finished product. It's been polished up and consists of 6 pieces. This is how it starts off. Here we go. Now you will notice it's cut out of 6mm MDF, and to get this trenches and profiles in it, what I've actually done is cut it out of 2 6mm and laminated them together to give you the 2 layers that make up the different profiles. I initially tried this. I wanted to make a miniature. I didn't want to make a big one. I tried a miniature which was 30mm by 30mm using 3mm MDF. The only problem was these little pieces here were just too brittle, and as you tried to push them, because some of them are a tight fit, they just broke. Look, I might try again, and not only that, the miniatures I usually give away for free, but these, even the miniatures, I've got to glue, and each piece consists of a backing board and 2 wings, which means I've got to do, 12 glue ups, and to make miniatures to give away is just not economical. Off the laser, they're charred. What I finish up doing is I buff it up on my Ross. I think you've seen me do it, but just for those that haven't, I'll show you. Just a bit of background bullshit. You may have noticed that some of my diagrams had holes in them, and even a lot of the instructions have holes in them. The reason was that when I initially designed this cube, I knew I had to laminate it, and I was going to use dowel alignment holes as I normally do in a lot of my projects where I laminate MDF. The intention is, with the holes, I use the holes for dowel alignment to stop the pieces from slipping during glue up. However, I found that this piece as 3mm MDF was very fragile, and that's why I went for the 6mm MDF, and as you can see the difference in size. However, when I went to the 6mm MDF, I was too bloody lazy to cut out the holes and cut whatever it was, 2, 4, 6, 8, 24 bits of dowel. So I decided to see what would happen if I dropped the dowel. I dropped the holes, at least in the build, although not in the diagrams, and the holes just became a redundant part of history, as you can see in future builds, even with the small ones. The dowels aren't required. And as I might have mentioned somewhere, the small ones work perfectly well. They're still quite strong enough, providing I sand them down sufficiently so that you don't have to force the pieces together. Anyway, that's it. This will slip in somewhere in the video, I hope. Yeah, the other one, as you can see now, has been packaged up, and this one, as I said, is the only one. It was my very first one, prototype. It's the only one that had the holes in it, and all you Aussie viewers will know what I mean by when I say this is going straight to the pool room. Before I amaze you with my sanding ability, I'd like to give you a little bit of a preamble as to what happens. When it comes to this Luban ball. I wanted to make these small ones, as I think I mentioned to you before, because what I like to do is package things into a small package like that, which I can then put in my pocket, and as I walk around in the public, hand them out as freebies to anybody that I thought might think worthy. The problem was that with this one, normally the instructions I make are that size. However, this is such a complex puzzle, the smallest I could make was this size. To package that into a packet like that was a bit of a pain. However, I don't mind, I don't mind pain. But I actually found that it was just as easy to make up a large puzzle, or when I say make up, sorry, the make-up is really in the glue up of the parts. And it's just as easy, in fact it's easier to glue up a large one than a small one. So I decided to actually take this option, package that, and therefore I could give a full-sized, where is it? Come here. Full-sized solution to the puzzle, which is a bit easier to understand. I mean, I have got a disclaimer in there, as you can see, it's a bit easier. I've got a disclaimer in there, if all else fails, hit that website. But for God's sake, it's a generated website, I've got no control over the name of it. It's such a long string, I'd hate to be the one trying to key that in and get it right. So, let's get rid of this. Oh, come on. That's out of the way. Get that out of the way. We don't need that, we don't need those. What I have got with regards to the large one, I'll show you. Here we are. This is what it looks like when it comes off the laser. And let's just knock out the pieces. And basically this is what you finish up with. Now, let's get rid of all this crap that we don't need. Here we go. Now to glue it up, what I do is, where is it? Damn it. It's upstairs, I'll have to go and get it. Bear with me. Finally I'm back. As you can see, my videos are perfectly orchestrated. I've got my jig for sanding. I've actually brought down the cheat sheet of how to lay the bloody pieces together because I cocked up the glue up. I misaligned them. Oh, it's deliberately out of alignment there, but I misaligned the wrong pieces, so that was totally stuffed. Then I recut it, and as you can see there's a little notch there which shouldn't have been there. That was stuffed. The only good thing about this exercise so far is that you've been spared the cussing which I've done off video. Okay, back online now. I've also, in one of the many retakes, I've got some super glue so I can now do some glue up. Now let's get rid of this shit and let's start doing some glue up. Yep, I've also, for all it's worth, I don't know whether you can see it or not, to the left I've lined up all the pieces how they should come together so I don't do any more cock-ups, which is what I should have done in the first place. With this, look, there's no magical thing behind it, just a bit of super glue. The only thing is to try and make sure you don't put too much on, because squeeze out is a bugger, especially with super glue. And as I said, I've got this bloody dicky hand which makes controlling a shit. But fortunately with this jig I can press it into the corners, and have I got, yeah, just to can wipe off any shit, any squeeze out. Fuck, look at all the squeeze, sorry. I mean, damn, look at all the squeeze out. I don't like squeeze out inside there. Bugger it, what have I got here? Some sort of a brush. At least that'll get rid of the squeeze out. I'll brush it into the corner. Yeah, that's that. Now, the one good thing about this is now that I've got that piece, I can then use that in here to align other pieces. And basically what I finish up doing is add a bit of super glue here. Come on, just be gentle. So none set to the bishop. Now, why am I putting the lid on? Now if we line this up properly, there, and there, because that's in there, that'll keep it flat to the base. That pushed in will keep it flat, and fucking squeeze out. Actually, I don't mind the squeeze out there. What annoys me is I get squeeze out on my little block here, which tends to bugger it up. And of course, every time I try and wipe the squeeze out off this thing here, I misalign it. It looks like I haven't this time. There you are, 2 pieces done. Now again, I'm not going to bore you shitless. I'll do the other 4 pieces, and then it'll be over to the Ross. Glued this up in my office upstairs, as it's only 10 degrees down here. I'm in my nightie without socks on, so it is a bit chilly. So there you have it, glued up. Get rid of that, the 6 pieces. Now is the time I'll slip over to the Ross, and once I've sanded it, we'll come back here and I shall attempt to show you how to solve it. Here we are on the Ross. I'll bring these over. I'll only do 1 or 2, and you'll get the idea of what I'm doing. Also, there'll be a bit of noise, so no talking. basically what I do, again, I don't know what the contrast's like, but, and I hope my fingers didn't obstruct it, but I try and get all the char marks off it. What that will do is make this thickness just that 1/4 of a mil thinner, which means that that will slip between those two easier, which sort of makes the puzzle easier to pull apart without having to force it. Well, you've seen what I do with that one. I'm going to do the same with these other 5 pieces, and then we'll get back to the other table. Finished sanding, and I must admit my sanding would be much quicker if I wasn't such a tight ass and replaced the sandpaper. Nevertheless, that Ross makes a hell of an impression if you don't watch what you're doing. I looked at some of my pieces, this is a while back, previous batch, and they had all this red on it. And I realised it was a... Where is it? Hang on. I sanded right through my thumb. And I put the Band-Aid on, and in just that little stint that I did, you can see the lightness in there. That's where I tried to sand through the Band-Aid. So be wary, you know. It's and the worst part is you don't feel you're doing it. Well, I feel this now because it's sore, but that's because the wound is a couple of days old. Okay, the way I do it, or I recommend, is to line your ducks up in a row, in that order. Alright, you haven't got the benefit of colour, but you know, hell, you could use coloured texture on your bits and pieces. Now, following the diagram, goes like that. Like that, like that, that, whoops, not even close, holy shit, what am I doing? That goes there like that. Christ, I'm a thickhead. Oh, this has got a little notch in there, in there, that I initially put in, but I realised, hey, I can get away without it. Well, hoping I can get away without it, because this is the first one I've tried without the notch, and hopefully it'll go together. Like so, so, and so. Now that's the order that the instructions I finished up getting off the internet recommended. I disagree with that. I go this way, put that up there, that up there, that there, that there, and that piece that was there, I put that in last, and you'll see why later. Okay, you start off with the end piece. Now, this piece with the little notch slips in there. Beautiful. That piece with the recess that goes over that slips in there. Now if you flip it over that with that tongue, right, and the long recess there sits in there. Now, because of that long recess, you can pull, come on, let's try, Jesus Christ, I'm all thumbs. Let's pull that back. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah, pulls back there. God, oh, you know, you turn it upside down and you lose track of it. Yeah, so that pulls back like that. No, that's bullshit. That Yeah, that pulls back. Now I'm just trying to think, did I really need that notch? Okay, well we'll try it this way. No, I don't like that. Let's try this again. That bit. Of course, I had that one upside down. It threw all the orientation out of the way. Sorry, this is not going to be a very good demo by the looks of it. I'm certainly not convinced. Yes, I am. That goes in there. Well, actually, I think I cocked up. I did cock up. That, if you have a look, is wrong. That's supposed to be the yellow. The big notch is on this side, and the little notch on that side. So that piece is cocked up, back to the drawing board. Bloody on-off button for the camera's half an hour walk from it. Anyway, I've got the new piece, hot in my little hands. Here's the old one, right hand, wrong one. You can see the difference. If I flip it over, you can see where the notches are now. That's a good one. Put that aside. Now, we'll go back to where we were, and this little notch goes in there like that. Now, hopefully, this piece will pull back, which it does beautifully. There you have it. Now, the original guy said that this one should go in second, which goes in the bottom, but if you put it in there, and if it's a fairly loose fit, it keeps dropping out. So I do suggest this piece goes in there, and it slips down into those two pieces. Come on. Slips down there. That one then, oops, go the other way, goes up in there, and that key just locks into place. Everything being equal. Key locks into place. Doesn't lock into place too easily, which really means, as you can see, I have to push it. What I've got to do is make sure I've got to sand that down quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll put this go right back to the sander, do another bit of sanding, because that should not be so hard to pull apart. I don't like it falling apart, but you shouldn't have to force it like that. Admittedly, as I said, I've got a dicky hand, arm actually, so it falls doesn't work too well, but it's still a bit hard. So I shall go back to the sander and then come back when it's done. Here I am, ready to amaze you again. I have sanded these pieces down, and you will notice that no way in any part of this upcoming video the fingers ever leave the hand. So, let's try again. Hopefully this will go together. I don't need to line up my ducks in a row because I know how they work. I hope. So, let's see. That should go in there. Oh, shit, that went in easily. that sits on there. Flipping that over, this little key one should slip. Oh, looks like I made it too loose, as in, you know, Mr. Lautrec. Yeah, too loose Lautrec, don't worry about it. Pull that aside. This piece should slip in snugly there. That piece snugly, and this time it would fall out all the time. And look at that, done up like a dog's dinner. In fact, the only annoying part of this is it's going to make it easy for whoever gets this puzzle to pull it apart, because that part will come apart easily. But anyway, there you have it. It's a, well, as I say, it's a nice loose fit. I've got these, I think I mentioned to you, I made these little ones. I don't know whether, as you can see, I don't know how well, oh no, was pulling the wrong one out. There, see that little piece that I told you, it automatically fell out. Pull that out. That should come out relatively easily. The key comes out and falls apart. So, as you can see, the little one's cutesy. You can put it in a bag and give that away to someone. But it is a fairly complex puzzle. And look, I have my doubts whether anybody's going to have the patience to sit there for hours on end and try and solve it. Usually, with a lot of the puzzles, look, to be honest with you, people give in and they resort to the solution. Not that, you know, that matters anyway. It's a cute little puzzle that you can sit on your tabletop and look at. I don't know how much of this you've actually seen in the video, but and that slips in there, and there you have it. That's all locked up. Now, I don't think there's anything more I can add to this or will add to it, other than, here we go again, oh, my little frogs. I love these frogs. Every time I see them, I pull them apart and put them back together again. But, well, not put them back together, they just put into place. But anyway, you're not here to look at my frog. And they're not frogs, they're actually lizards. And when I think about it, they're actually geckos. Escher's geckos, I think they are. But anyway, look, that's it, boys and girls. As I said, I have managed to package these bigger ones up. I've got a few of them now, as you can see. Here's another one I've got to package, and of course there's a couple upstairs with the one with the hole in it and a small one that have been buffed up. With the amount of effort required for this, there's no bloody way known I'm going to buff it up and then give them away for free. Maybe if I sold them, I could, but shit, I'm not going to become a millionaire by selling them, and that's it. So I'd rather just give them away as presents to friends, or maybe bugger up, slip in, actually what I should do is slip in one of these dodgy pieces instead of the good ones and give them away to one of my enemies. Anyway, that's a thought. Anyway, boys and girls, that's it for now. Oh shit, here's another one. There you are. God, I've got heaps of them. Uru, and keep safe.